Hi, I'm Tracy Reed. I'm the redevelopment project manager for Crossroads. I've been asked to talk about the Chollas Triangle. Chollas Triangle in this area goes back to about 10 years ago when we started to look at redevelopment in this area. The original name that the community had for portions of this area was Chollas Triangle. And a couple years after the redevelopment plan was adopted, we put together a request for proposals to developers to look at this, because we always thought this was a node, a gateway, and a centerpiece for the community that can access and improve the entire area around it, the surrounding residential areas. So we put together this RFP and had some major mixed-use developers interested in the area, but what happened was the market kind of crashed at that same time. Well, we took that paperwork and stuff and submitted it to Sandag, and Sandag had, on a kind of every other year basis, they support smart growth grants. So we worked with the community planning department and put together a smart growth grant application for Chollas Triangle, and we were very competitive with the rest of the region, and luckily we were awarded the grant. So we made a matching fund of agency funds with the Sandag grant, roughly for $550,000, to bring in a consultant team to look at updating the community plan for this area, which I would call something like a focused plan amendment. And I think it's more affordable and more understandable to the community to focus on a plan amendment for a 30 or 40 acre area than an entire community. And I think it's become really supported by the neighborhood groups and the planning groups. And we're just starting this process, and a walking audit is the first way to get input and stuff from the community. Does that sound?
Councilmember Arnold is committed to supporting whatever the community wants. So whatever goes through the planning process, she's going to be a strong advocate for community input. That's what she's been her whole life, both in her term as a troubleshooter for Channel 10 and now on the City Council. She respects what the community wants, and she's going to do everything she can to implement it.
Do you want me to introduce myself? Or okay, my name is Michael Prinz. I'm an associate planner with the City Planning and Community Investment Department. We're here to implement the Sandag Smart Growth Incentive Program grant that we have to do a master plan for the Chollas Triangle area, which is the 36-acre site bounded by 54th University and Chollas Parkway. And what we're really going to do is a plan amendment to the Mid-City Communities Plan for to see what kind of land use we want on the site. We're going to look at open space, we're going to look at transportation, urban design, land use improvements for the entire 36-acre site. And not only are we looking at land use, but we're looking at what's feasible from an economic perspective, and what sorts of transportation improvements we want with the planned development project. And ultimately, this is we're going to rezone the property, and we're going to amend the community plan to provide new land use inputs. And so this will go through the community planning group, through our stakeholder working group, and then ultimately on to Planning Commission and City Council for final adoption. And we hope to complete the process within the next 1.5 to 2 years.
Excellent.
My name is Mark Johnson. I'm the principal at Civitas. We're planners and urban designers, and I'm really happy to be here working on the Chollas Triangle. What we're going to be doing here is looking at this area and seeing what's possible for kind of short and long-term redevelopment to get more people here, get more shops here, have more activity here, hopefully connect to the creek better, and make this a much more interesting and green community. I've been working in San Diego for about 8 years now on a number of things, done a lot of work in Balboa Park. I'm actually the lead designer for the North Embarcadero down on the waterfront in downtown, and also done some work on the Grantville Community Plan and a plan for the San Diego River to turn that into a park.
Hi, my name is David Bergman, and I am part of the project team that's been hired by the city to work on the Chollas Triangle community plan. My firm is Metropolitan Research and Economics, and I am a land use economist and planner. And my initial thoughts, and we're going to have a presentation today, is that this site is a tremendous opportunity to have 30 plus acres in the middle of the city that you can think strategically about. and it's in a very good location in terms of where the population is distributed in the middle part of San Diego. So it's a site with a lot of potential. The creek behind the site can serve as an amenity that can help support very high quality development over time, and there's very good commercial access along University and 54th. So those are some of the main assets of the site that we want to leverage. We start thinking about the economic potential of the site.
Stakeholder working group, we've assembled a few people from the community and property owners that we work closely with to represent the community, and then we invite the larger community at large to come out for these sort of workshops. There will be another one where people will be invited back when we start discussing ideas. Civitas is the urban planner and urban designers on the project, and then we have Fair and Peers, AECOM, and MRE helping us out as well. So this is a little hard to read, but the main point is the large red dot on our project schedule is where we're at today. So this is a long process. No decisions are going to be made up front of what's going to be built or developed. There's some questions out there about what would happen, and the short answer is we are working through the process with the community to determine what the best plan for this area is. And then also we work with the property owners and what their needs are and what their vision is too. So today's the first meeting. And as you can see, it goes all the way out through an environmental analysis is kind of the last stage before any recommendations for changes are made to the community plan. So this is just a diagram showing in brown is the mid-city community, which was identified in the master plan. And we are actually this little triangle square is what we walk today, right in the middle. The project actually falls within the eastern area community, but it's at an important location because it's on the border with the City Heights community as well. So this will just give you kind of a framework for these slides to show you where we're at. What this is showing is kind of all the parks in the area are in kind of the dark green, with Choice Park being the big guy. And this funny line you see down the middle is actually following Choice Creek from our site all the way down to the San Diego Bay. And what's showing in red here is that it's actually piped underground, and then there's that channel, for those of you that were in our group who stood there and looked at it, and then it kind of daylights right at our site. So I've always been kind of envisioning this as kind of the urban headwaters in this area for Chollas Creek, and starting to picture it as kind of a demonstration of the creek and the open space system. And you can see this green part right in this corner is the community garden that we stopped and looked at. And this green strip of land here is community property. It's designated as open space. It's one of the areas that is planned for a bicycle trail in the future. It's supposed to be it's an off-street dedicated bike lane along the creek. So the importance of this slide is showing the potential connectivity and where our site lies within the community.
Chris, why don't you point out Kalina Park and Tracy River Avenue, just so everybody's aware.
Oh, yeah. This is Kalina Park. This is University Avenue. We walk this piece here. And this is 54th Street here. So this is just demonstrating kind of the highway network around our site. And what's interesting is that if our site's in the middle, within a 2-mile drive radius, you can connect to 94, 15, 805, and 8. And what that tells us is that if you're a resident living in the area, you can easily commute out of the area by the highways. And also, if this was a destination, a retail destination, there's the opportunity to access the site from the major highway system as well.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay without the microphone? Okay. I'll use it if anybody can hear. So again, my name is Dave Bergman, and I'm the economist on the team. And so we're looking at market conditions and the opportunities for investments here in the plan area over time. An important part of that is to understand who lives in and around the plan area and in and around the site. And one thing that I'm really very pleased to see here today at our public meetings are so many families with children, because that's really a hallmark of who's living in this neighborhood. It's a very young community, and it's a very young community in comparison to the rest of San Diego and to San Diego County as a whole. There's a high proportion of family households, so that means households where there are more than one related person living together, and a high number of family households with children under 18, school-age children. So you're really the core of the community, and I'm very pleased to see that you participated and given your Saturday morning over to this. So something to think about. We're thinking about the area in green as the immediate market area. Those are the neighborhoods or districts that are closest to the site where we're planning. And then there's a secondary market that's in blue, that's sort of the next set of neighborhoods over. And just a couple of facts about those neighborhoods that are interesting. So there's about 36,000 people living in just the green area. If you look at the purple or the blue on either side, that adds another 85,000 people. That's really the equivalent of a medium-sized city in California, just in this plan area. So to give you a sense, it's about the same size as Carlsbad, which has 98,000 people, El Cajon, that has 94,000 people, or Vista, with 92,000 people. So you really can think about this area as being like a medium-sized city on its own. And this site, with 30-odd acres, really could also really be a town center for a medium-sized city. So those are the kinds of opportunities that are suggested by the community that surrounds the site, and the fact that it's so rare to find this kind of space in the center of the city. So, and again, as I mentioned, just to give you a sense, the median age here in the neighborhood is about 28 years old, and it's about 35 for San Diego County. So we're significant enough. Next slide. We'll talk a little bit before I go to into income. Let me talk a little bit about housing, and then because I think my slides have been compressed. But so there's a lower rate of home ownership. There's more people who live here are renters than the county as a whole. About just under 40% of the dwelling units here are owner-occupied, which is about half countywide. One thing that I found that's really interesting too is that the housing is relatively younger when you compare it to all of San Diego City. The median year that a dwelling unit, so the middle year that a dwelling unit was built in the area, is 1971. So that's something that also differentiates it from the rest of the city. So housing values here for owner-occupied housing, it peaked in 2006 at just over $400,000 as the median sales price. It's gone down like it's gone down everywhere in the country and everywhere in California. So today, it's closer to about $230,000 is what the median value is, compared to the state at $251,000. So it's about the same as the statewide median, but it's significantly less than the countywide, which is about $370,000. So it's an area of attainably priced housing. That's another asset or advantage that the community has. Incomes. It's not a secret that the incomes in this neighborhood are modest, particularly compared to San Diego County as a whole. And I don't want to stress the fact that there are a large percentage of lower income households in the community. But what is important to recognize is the aggregate income, or the total spending power of the community. The total spending power, the aggregate income, is almost, it's $540 million. So even though the households have relatively modest incomes, there's still daily needs and expenditures that have to occur. Groceries, clothing, furniture, maintaining a household, all of which can be served by commercial activities here in the core of the community. And again, this is the slide on the median value of owner-occupied dwelling units. So you see that the area immediately near the site has a some higher value. The darker colors are higher value, the lighter colors are lower value. But that it's important to remember that the owner-occupied housing is significantly less expensive than the county as a whole.
The size of our entire study area, just within a half a mile from the